So I'm here laying on my bed. Don't get mad at me for my retro sheets. Well, not mad, but don't make fun of me, I should say. Wanted to talk about this Jussie Smollett case. Been listening to a lot of different people on the internet, and this idea was inspired or sparked by not Professor Black Truth, but the Black Authority, Jason Black. And one thing he said, it's kind of odd how Chicago PD was able to easily find these men, find all the camera footage. When you look at what happened in the Laquan McDonald case, how they drug their feet on that in terms of getting the footage to actually convict one of their own of a hate crime. And somehow they were able to find this footage so quickly and, recover it, and then also find suspects of or people of interest. That had me thinking, I watched that probably like a day or so ago, and then I'm sitting here and I'm watching Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I was like, you know what? This smells fishy. Like, it smells like, not even fishy, this smells fetty, if you will. This sounds like it include the federal government at some point in time. Now, again, when you're sending things through the mail, in terms of any type of substance, even if it is just aspirin or a powdered substance that could have been mistaken for anthrax, which is what the point of that letter that was sent out. But when you're sending that through the actual U.S. postal system, if that was the case, and I think it was, because when I saw a picture of the letter or the envelope, it actually had a stamp on it, possibly. But that's neither here or that's very important, because now you're involving the federal government. Your USPS, everyday mail guy that gets chased by the dog, or is out there rain, sleet, or snow, so on and so forth. That's a federal agent, and many people know that. It's just one of the facts, or one of the cool facts of the U.S. System. But those guys are federal agents. You do anything to, if you do anything to the mail, or do anything that involves the mail, that could be considered a crime, a federal crime. And I think that falls on the federal jurisdiction. Or I'm sorry, I think parts of this case fell under federal jurisdiction. So that's one. Anything done through the mail, especially if that letter was actually delivered by a person in the post office, that's going to be pretty big. Second, the whole, including Trump supporters in this, saying this is MAGA country, and saying racial slurs along with that, implicating that, say, a base of the current U.S. president in office, his supporters are somehow racist, which would lead to people believing that he is as well a racist. Now, that's been something that's been toted around. That's been something that's been pointed to in his policies or in the way he talks about certain things, so on and so forth. Whether it's true or not, you have to look at, those are very incendiary comments to make, and that could really have a really big how can I put this? That can have a really big effect on how people see the president in the upcoming election. Again, some of these thoughts are new, and that right there, that connection is, I just thought of that. And I'm sure others have already. So I don't think Chicago PD was truly behind all of this. I actually really think that this fell under federal jurisdiction, maybe even Department of Justice, Homeland Security. This fell under a lot of different federal jurisdictions and became a larger case once something like hate crime and MAGA country came into play. Once those kind of comments came into play, if he would have just said, hey, listen, if it was like, racial slurs and homophobic slurs, I think that would have almost saved him in a sense. And then if he, of course, he didn't do the stuff through the mail, I think that would have saved him, and he would have possibly have just gotten out with, oh, I'm going to go to rehab, and then maybe I can do better in terms of, I could do better once I get out of rehab and maybe try and get some portion of his career back. I mean, because even people are talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine getting out of jail after snitching on his entire crew, having them do things for him that he ordered, and then saying, hey, they did it. And that's what that's looking like. I don't know the particulars of that case, but, you hear everybody else talk about it. So I'm taking that as canon. Forgive me. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my God, I think the feds were involved in this. For them to be able to get the information of these guys so darn quickly, yeah, I definitely think the feds were involved, especially when we're coming up to an election year as well. Yeah, definitely the feds were involved. The feds had to be involved in this. They had to. They just had to. There's no way you can just really look at this and say, oh, okay, hey, listen, the feds weren't involved, so on and so forth. I just look at this and I'm like, no, Chicago PD is not moving this quick. No actual police department moves this quick. Even on big cases like this, there's so many other moving parts in this. For them to be able to turn around so quickly and come back after him, I don't have faith in Chicago PD, and I think the comment that I just made, that no police department moves this quick, that was wrong. I'm just going to say that was wrong. Make that live correction in a sense, or that recorded correction here. But I definitely think this is something that the alphabet soup boys, if you will, have definitely put their hand into this, and I definitely think this is going to be great for great to set a precedent. And I've been saying this in comment sections on other videos. This is going to set a great precedent for those that actually those that want to fight against false police reports, such as false rape claims, such as false battery claims, just false claims in general. If you're going to go out there and make these false claims, which a lot of people have been doing, again, this is going to be something that might thwart the Me Too movement. A lot of people, a lot of people that make these false rape claims where it's just believe the woman and everything like that, that's very dangerous. That was dangerous to begin with, and that's going to be even, and that has actually caused, male students to be taken off of campuses. Their rights have been stripped socially in a sense. Their names and their images have been tarnished in the court of public opinion. Men that have been exonerated, and people have come out and said, hey, listen, this never happened. This person was never there. They've had to, still pull out of a school. And then, of course, they don't even look good on campus, so on and so forth. And that right there is a big deal, and that's been an ongoing issue within the last decade or so. And it's got to stop. And I think this case can set a very, very nice precedent. And now more and more people can see that filing a false police report is something that is a punishable crime. Punishable crime in some states. I want to say I've heard that even in the state of Florida, and I hope it's something that is. I hope it's something that is what's it called? Is punishable in all states. So something like that, the more and more people find out that, this is a punishable crime, a crime that could be met with jail time, you're going to start to see more and more people shut up about that and actually stop making false police reports. And I think we're going to start to see a return of truth. Again, this is kind of like fresh in my mind. I don't really talk about this stuff much, just because sometimes I feel that I'm out of my depth in these social and political issues. So even when I do stuff on the Black Brain Trust, I mostly listen to those. Those broadcasts, because there are certain things I just don't know. I wholly admit that. I have no problem admitting that I just don't know about this stuff as much. If you guys feel otherwise, if you guys feel that, hey, Mike, I'm wrong, or maybe I'm onto something, or maybe we can just flesh this out a little bit more in the comment section, please do. And I'd like to hear your video responses as well, for those that do listen that want to talk out about this. And, you know, hopefully this can actually be a big thing or a good thing for us all, in terms of bringing back truth to our justice system. Thank you.